I'm not using my fancy tripod, folks. I'm using the small little countertop one I have. It's not like the best. It is a basically like a selfie stick that opens up to a tripod I've had for quite some time. It works for small scenarios like this where I need something on the top of the counter, right? So I didn't feel like going out to get the suction mount from the truck, but we're sitting here. I know it's late. It's 11:04. So, and that's on the West Coast, so it's gonna be even later for all the folks, on the other side of America. But hopefully we can get some people in the chat. Gonna sit here. Gonna start making some dinner and stuff. I figure why not sit here and shoot the shit with folks if you want to talk about S10s, Sonomas, the OHV 2.2 liters. I mean, even if you're doing like a LS swap, V8 swap, you got a 4.3 drag build, drift build, whatever it is, if it's just your daily driver, if you've got plans to go in one of those directions with the truck, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it. And let me know what you're working on. My setup is a 2000 for the new folks that haven't been following the build. Regular cab, short bed, fleet side, 2.2 liter, of course, with the manual transmission. I love it. I've had one of these in the past, and I bought a second one for a reason. And this is coming from a guy that's had, a few builds, like 4x4 K5 Blazer lifted, like on 37 IROX, locker, all that, like an old International. That's what I sold to get that Blazer. I've had, some S10 Blazers as well, 4x4s, Jeep, a couple little rigs. And these S10s are probably my favorite, I gotta say, as far as a daily, because they're so reliable. But we got nobody in the chat, and that's cool. I'm gonna sit here, just kind of do my thing, and if anybody hops in, we'll sit here and talk about S10s and Sonomas. If not, that's solid. I'll end the chat, here in a little bit, the live, if nobody taps in. I'm welcoming anybody that is also into, like Cavaliers, Sunfires, anything that's running the 2.2 and they're hopping it up, having some fun. Or, just encouraging folks that are interested maybe in get one in the future, right? Or just like the content, drift content in general, tap in. Or four-cylinder content, because not all folks nowadays are too keen on low power, four cylinders. A lot of people think they're too good for it, and they just like their high power rigs, which is fine, to each their own. That's fine. But we're here to support the mini truck community in a different way, and that is sliding the low power. There's a fair amount of folks out there doing it, but I feel like, with the 2.2 liter S10, there is just a very niche, like a small handful of folks that are currently doing it. A lot of this stuff on YouTube is a decade old, 15 years old. When it was a more popular platform to slide around, especially the low power setup of the 2.2. Sadly, the 4.3s are kind of hard to get in the regular cab short bed. I feel like all the folks that knew what they were, that sweet spot time, they snagged them up, right? Can't really get the 4.3 regular cab short beds too easy now, for a decent price anyways. Most of the folks know what they got, but we had someone hop in and they hopped out. That's all right. That's all right. I get how it is. I don't have the like the truck in the background, right? Obviously the truck in the background is just gonna attract way more viewers. Or like if I had a little bit of a different title, maybe that's a little more appealing for some folks. They'd be tapping in a little bit more or staying longer, but hey, that's okay. It's okay. We're here to just sit here, have a good time, and I'm gonna get to it with what I'm doing. I'm not gonna sit here and film none of that, because that's not what my content's about. But I just figured, like I said earlier, while I'm doing it, why not just sit here and try to tap in with a new subscriber, viewer. That's what we're after here with these lives. Not just that, of course, but that is a big goal with the lives, I feel like, of mine. So, but let's grab this stuff here. But with the rig I'm running, it is a daily. It's been my daily for about 2 years. Told myself I wasn't going to modify this one. Some of you folks may have heard that if you watched some of the videos in the past of mine. Life's too short. I ended up modifying it, and I don't regret it. Just like the last build I had. The only thing that you will regret with, doing a Drift S10 is getting rid of it if you sell it, right? You're never going to get rid of it owning it, driving it, repairing it, and let me tell you, repairing them, I've never personally had issues with maintenance, issues, anything like that. With that being said, when I did put my lightweight flywheel in there, with the stage 2 clutch. I was feeling my clutch kind of feeling like it was slipping, you know, in the high RPMs in 5th gear, 4th gear on the highway, right? And when I did pull the trans and crack the bell housing open, it did dump the clutch all over. So it was like powdered. One of the springs was all like foobarred, stuck up in there. It was cooked. So I'm glad I did that. But you know, at that point in time, it was just over 100K. Says factory clutch. You know, 100K on a 25-year-old truck. Factory clutch, that ain't too bad. You can't complain about that. And then mind you, it wouldn't have went out prematurely if I wasn't clutch kicking it every single day on dry pavement, right? You know, that's part of it. I knew what I was getting myself into, and I'm glad. So while I'm on that topic, we're gonna sit here talking about clutch kicking with that stage 2 clutch I threw in there. I'm just gonna kind of talk about that for a second, because I think that is a very important modification, one of the most important modifications on a Drift S10 with the 2.2 setup. I think that even if it's your daily, if you don't mind a little bit of a heavier clutch, I think you should go for it. I don't mind it too much. And that's with, you know, having like a 30 minute drive, right, every day or whatever. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. It takes a little getting used to with your leg. Your leg might be tired the first few days if, you know, if you're sitting there in traffic and it's just nonstop clutching, right? It's nothing to be worried about, and it's held up great. I mean, I've clutch kicked it basically almost every single day of driving, for sure 6 days a week, no doubt in my mind. And hey, it holds up well. It will clutch kick second gear dry pavement. It'll get you sideways on dry pavement. Anyone wondering, because I feel like those are questions I could just go out there and answer ahead of time, because I feel like somebody's going to ask that. And it does, because, you know, they're so low powered with the mini spool. Some people are going to wonder, like, can it light up both tires realistically in like second or third? And it can. In third gear, I don't normally get too wild trying to do third gear in the dry, because I don't have like any big tracks I can go to and have like open time like that, right? As of right now, with what I got going on. So I don't have like the open predictability room, just sit there and just practice, right? So with that being said, I don't do a whole lot of clutch kicking drifting in third gear in the dry. I do in the wet, no doubt. Like, no doubt I do in the wet. But you know how it is when you're having a Scandinavian flick with low power in the dry, it can get a little sketchy if the rig is not 100% built, slammed, you know what I'm saying? I still need to get the 3-inch lowering leafs for the rear to complement the 4-inch blocks. So I'm still getting body roll back there. I'm running clapped out bushings on everything besides my end links. Those are like new energy suspension. But you know, going with the bigger 33 mil front sway bar from a 2-wheel drive Blazer, I did that, but I haven't got the new bushings yet. That's like polyurethane. So I'm getting a lot of body roll from that. You know, old like clapped out body bushings as well, and a few other things too. So the handability is just like a little off, you know, clutch kicking in the dry third gear. Just, it gets a little gnarly, just a little bit wild. But sometimes I do. And if you really goose it, I mean, you get it up at red line, it will chirp tires in third gear in the dry too. You know, I like stabbing it in gear and chirping tires. You know, it's fun. Second gear in the dry, it'll slide tires a good like 10 feet or so. You know. Good times, man. Good times in the S10. But let's see. Put this over here. What is up, everyone? I appreciate it. I just now noticed I got 2 people watching. Where my camera's set up, it's in the light right here with the viewers. So I couldn't even tell that there was anyone watching, to be real with you. Okay, that's gonna be better right there. The background for me is like gray. I could see if anybody's watching. But I appreciate you tapping in. We're talking about drift trucks here. Mainly the 2.2 S10 platform, but anything else, whatever you're rocking, I'm interested to hear about it. Not sure if you are a subscriber that's been following the channel or not, but the S10 build's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. It's a little bit different than a lot of folks. It's quite a bit different, I feel like. And I do slide it. It's not just like a for looks kind of truck, because I feel like a lot of folks just go for that look, like that stanced car look, and they don't actually slide them, right? With that being said, sadly, I slid mine into something last night a little bit, kind of dented up the back on the rear panel. Ah, man, first time I actually did that, but I was sliding quite a bit for a while. It's gonna happen if you're actually sitting there sliding for like over an hour having some fun. It is what it is, but it's nothing too dramatic. You know, could be worse. Could be worse. It's part of just having a drift truck, you know. But ask any questions. I'm here to answer questions. I'm just sitting here preparing dinner. Figured I'd make a little live, try to reach some new subscribers, some new viewers, you know, or just say what's up to the folks that have been watching the channel the last few weeks that I've been running these videos. So I appreciate anybody viewing and liking or commenting. Much appreciated always. Like I said earlier, if you weren't watching, I'm, you know, interested in any build, even if it's non S10 Sonoma related, right? Definitely interested in like old Cobalts, Cavaliers, you know, just some oddball stuff that's not super common, like kind of old school tuner vibes, right? I think that stuff's pretty cool. Definitely would like to hear if anybody's out there rocking like a Cobalt, Cavalier, Sunfire, you know, just those different rigs. We're over here doing avocados, folks. We're here filming what I'm doing, but that's not what this content's about. So we are just filming me talking about whatever, right? And I had someone mention earlier, and I'm hoping that they respond back to me. I don't recall. I'm trying to remember if it was on here or if it was on TikTok. I think it was on here. And someone mentioned that they were going to get a chip from Jegs. And I'm going to look up what they're going for right now. But I just want to, if anybody happens to be watching this and they're considering getting like a plug-and-play chip for their S10 or car, just be weary, even if it is like from a reputable website like Jegs. Just be careful and make sure like it's legit. Because I'm running HB tuners and doing like real tuning, right? And I feel like that's the way to go. Not going cheap and just getting like a preset tune chip. I feel like with the technology nowadays, like I feel like they're definitely reputable to a degree. But I feel like there's also that kind of gamble, like, is it a bunch of BS, right? I don't know. Maybe the chips are coming from someone super reputable. Not just the seller, not like the secondhand seller, right? I'm talking about the manufacturers, like a reputable manufacturer brand, like Holly, Edelbrock, etc., right? Something like that. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of a different story, but anyways, I think that getting off topic here a little bit, I think that these 2.2s are very underrated and mad hated on from some folks for some odd reason. But then some folks will sit there and talk all good about the Iron Duke 2.5, which is a great motor as well, right? And I think that it's kind of wild because I think this Vortec 2200 is what it is. You know, it's a 134 CI engine. I think they're sweet, man. Especially when you get one like behind, you know, in front of a manual transmission. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. They really scoot. And then a later year too. So I have like a 2000. So you know, there's a few different changes over the years with them, and they kind of improved. And there's a little bit more power to be had with certain models. So kind of pay attention to that. And you definitely will feel it for sure. Which I think is kind of cool, you know, to keep an eye out for. And the modifications, right? So it's like a little more, I would say, kind of niche for like the modifications. Like there's not like a huge aftermarket support, but that almost makes it fun, right? Because you're not pulling up to a car meet or a show and there's 10 of the same rigs, and then half of those have one or two of the same modifications, same wheels or something that you have, right? Because that's something you come across. There's a lot of cookie cutter builds, and that's okay for people to have similar taste with their builds. But you pull up to a meet or whatever, and it's just like cookie stuff. It's cool to a degree. Like, I'm not hating for people having similar taste, but it's cool to have a smaller aftermarket support to a degree if you look at it with the right mindset, because you have something. What's up Wesley? I appreciate you tapping in and commenting. We're sitting here, obviously the title says, we're sitting here talking about some Sonomas, S10's, 2.2s, drift builds, whatever you're working on. I'm kind of curious on what you're working on. Do you have an S10 or Sonoma yourself? Do you have anything rocking a 2.2 liter like a Cavalier? Are you even running a V8 swap in the S10? I'm kind of curious what you're working with. You got any questions about the build? Feel free to ask anything. I am definitely glad to answer any questions. I really enjoy answering questions, actually, when it pertains to these trucks. So definitely feel free on that. Let's see. But I'm sorry I don't have my truck in the background right now. Obviously, it's kind of cold outside, and I'm just about to prepare to cook. So I just figured I'd take advantage and talk while I'm doing it, kind of multitask over here. But you guys let me know what you'd like to see with the truck. Did you get that part number? Oh, okay, that was you asking about the belt, right? Let me check. Let's see. I'm wondering here if it might freeze up for a sec. I'm gonna try to go real fast and see if I took a picture of it, and then I'm gonna ramble that number off to you really quick, okay? So if it does like a little cut out pause, that's what I'm doing. I'm pulling up that part number real quick for you, because I think I took a picture of it. Got it pulled up. Let me write it down. I got it in my pictures right here, the actual part. I'll write it down. I'm gonna name it off to you real quick. All right, so the part number for that belt, let's get that wrote down for you, bro. All right, I hope you're still in the chat. So that belt is made by Gates. All right, and let me double check. I think it's O'Reilly's. Yeah, so I got it from O'Reilly's. It was $33, and that's on Pacific Northwest. It's over in Oregon, so it's kind of expensive here. So it might be cheaper if you're in a cheaper state. But the number is K060637. And then there was also another number right underneath that. There's a little bit smaller. I'm going to give that to you just in case. That could help you if there's like maybe a different variant. And that number is 6PK1620. But that's the one with the 3-year warranty, because the off-brand, it was like a microguard, or not microguard, that's like their oil filters. But whatever their in-house brand was, it had a 1-year warranty, and it was like $3, $4 less. And it's like, why do that when you get a name brand one that you know is going to be probably higher quality serpentine, right? So I hope that helps you out, and that's for the non-AC, of course. And yeah, it's going well. I just swapped mine out the other day. Preventative maintenance. I feel like it's always good to get those out of the way, especially in the winter if you're seeing any kind of wear with the cracks and shit like that. But yeah, definitely if you are doing, I don't recall specifically on your setup if you were doing an AC delete. I'm pretty sure that's why you were asking for that belt. So I hope that goes well for you and that you feel the performance gain. On my first S10, the automatic I did the AC delete on it with the smaller belt years ago, and I felt the difference for sure. I would definitely say a good probably 2 horsepower, but that's all the way through the power band, all the way through the curve. So it's a good gain. I feel like any kind of parasitic draw you can get off of the engine is a win-win. And there's really no downsides to it, I feel like. I mean, obviously, you're not going to have your AC, but if it's not working, that's not a big deal. Or if you're in a cold state, even if my AC was working, I feel like at this point with the drift build, I'd probably just rip it out in Oregon, because very few months I would even need it, because I'm big about weight reduction and cleaning up under the engine bay. I got it. Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad you got it. I hope that works out. It's so simple with the, you just put the wrench on there, the 3/8 ratchet, you don't even have to put a socket on there. It's just like the square end, you break her loose with the tension pulley, it pops off, dude. It's like a 30-second belt swap, the fastest belt swap in the world, man. So nice. But I'm glad you got that.
Keys?
No, I'm good. Thank you, babe. My S10 came with the wrong compressor, so I'm just taking it out anyways. Oh, okay, yeah, get that mess out of there. If it's got the wrong compressor, it ain't even worth your time to deal with that whole system, trying to do a leak down and all that crap. Yeah, that'll look good too up under the engine bay, have the extra room. You know, it'd be nice for snapping pictures, kind of get you started, you know, with having that trimmed engine bay look. It looks clean once you do a little bit to them, you know, that EFAM mod and stuff. Got a lot of room for like a turbo. That's what we're all about, right?
Oh.
All right. Let's see here. But speaking of cleaning up the engine bay, you know, while we're talking about you yanking out your AC compressor, I feel like the ABS, I'm not sure if you have your ABS hooked up, not hooked up, if you're even running it in the rig. I plan to do an ABS delete on mine entirely to clean up the engine bay. But it has proportioning valves in there, so you can't just like yank it out and cap stuff off. You actually have to do some kind of setup for the proportioning valves so it, you know, distributes the pressure to the front and back brakes correctly, or else it'll be kind of dangerous. But you know, that's going to drop like at least 10 pounds off the rig and a lot of you know, a lot cleaner of a look. Let's see, I got a comment. I don't have mine hooked up. Okay, yeah. See, I just have I have the fuse pulled out. I feel like it's safer. I feel like even I've had them where the ABS is hooked up and it's working well, and I think they just handle like trash. Whether it's raining or it's in the ice or snow, I feel like they're too sketchy for an experienced driver, right? So many times I've almost rear-ended somebody because you put your foot to the, you know, hit the brakes, and then it's just like going to the floor and doing that weird wonky, that wobble, you know, and it's like, it's not a good ABS system in my opinion. But I'm sure, you know, you seem like you already know about that if yours isn't hooked up. But curious if you're automatic, if you are manual. Curious what transmission you have. My first drift truck, the S10 2.2 is automatic, and then this one's a base model, so is manual. Yeah, yes, very scary. Dude, no joke, no joke. I can't tell you how many close calls I've had and not doing stupid driving. I'm talking like just regular day-to-day driving, and I pay attention when I'm driving, and I'm not stupid. And yeah, the ABS is so sketch on these vehicles. They're a little better in a Blazer with that little bit extra weight, I feel like, and if you have like off-road tires or all-terrains, I'm saying, but yeah, definitely scaring the light little S10s. But I appreciate the like, really appreciate that. I know it's kind of late, you know, like I was saying earlier, so there's not going to be too many people viewing, and I get that, and that's cool. But we're trying to reach the folks because not everybody works the same schedules, so we're reaching the folks that are up at this time. Let's see what this says. The first week of me owning it, it did that, and I pulled the fuse so fast, I'm going to put out this spring. Definitely. Yeah, you know the feeling. You know the feeling. It is not cool. Not cool whatsoever. But I mean, I'm sure you know, back in the day, like when it was all 100% brand new, it worked decent. But I've heard folks say that they've had them, you know, brand new, and they act up like brand new. They just, you know, replace every part and it still rides like crap, you know, when you're hitting the brakes. So that's my knowledge of it. So I just definitely go the no fuse in there. I'm excited to get that out of my engine bay though, because I don't like how it has all those brake lines in there swirling around by the steering column and stuff. It just looks like trash. I don't like it. Definitely want to yank that out. I would yank the brake booster, you know, to shave the engine bay a little bit more, but I think I want the safety and reassurance of having a brake booster for hard track driving versus a cleaner engine bay, right? And weight reduction. So I think that's the setup. I'm gonna go with that. Just like, cause I'm gonna keep the power steering. I'm not gonna go too crazy with any bay shaving. And I have an automatic too. Want to swap it for a 5-speed at some point. Sick. Yeah, you definitely should. You know, you could pick up those 5-speed. Keep your eye out. You can get it for a good deal. And then once you have it right, then you can excess the seals on it. You just buy new seals, get quality seals, flush it out. You know, you pull that plug, spray in there, drain it, kind of take a look in there if there's any shavings, and then do the stage 2 clutch. I did the stage 2 clutch kit on mine with a lightweight flywheel for like $200, and it's amazing. I love it. Definitely would recommend that. But the automatic, you can still get sliding with the automatic for sure, though, you know. That's what my first one was. And that first truck, it was set up pretty decent, you know. Had like racing seats in it, like Corbu fixed back bucket seats, 5-point harness, the 3-inch. It was pretty nice. It was a fun little rig. But definitely love these platforms, dude. Definitely love these platforms. It's just, there's something that wasn't made to, or had like no, you know, performance intentions behind it when it was being made. I feel like it's just like such a different experience when you're sliding something around like that. You know, we have to combat crap, you know, like any G body stuff, like, you know, the bad geometry with the front end, with the steering, getting positive camber while you're turning, crap like that. But, you know, once you combat those things with some mods and a little bit of, you know, racking each other's brains, help each other figure out the issues with that, it's not too bad. Let's see. All right, just making sure I wasn't missing any comments. You know how it is on the phone screen, it's pretty small, right? Definitely ready to get the truck out of the track some point. Once I get a few more modifications done to it, I'm definitely ready. I think here soon, one of the like kind of fun, goofy modifications I'm thinking about doing is maybe doing one of those water sprayers for the back tires for whenever it's dry out. I'm not tearing my tires up too much. And obviously to slide easier too, right? So I'm not having to goose it so hard. So let's see, did your auto have a Corvette's servo in it? Did it help with the shifting at all? Mine has a hard 1 to 2 shift. Well, to be honest with you, I don't even know about the whole servo thing with the Corvette servo. I'm not familiar with that, to be honest with you. Mine had a fully stock auto trans. All I did was inspect it, right? Like top it off. I didn't even drain it, flush it, or nothing like that. And I heavily abused it, but you have a hard 1 to 2 shift. I'm kind of curious if it's like, do you think it has like a shift kit in it, or do you think it's like an issue with the shifting one from the first to second? Because if you're having an issue with that, I haven't done a filter, like I was saying, on an S10 trans, but I would assume it's not too bad. You might want to yank that out, put a fresh filter and fluid in there, do a flush if you're having a hard shift. I think that would definitely be advisable on that one if it's not like a performance modification put in there. But definitely curious on that, what you're thinking on that. I will say though, no, I would do more reps than that. But I think that I definitely think that the automatic is nice for daily driving, right? That is one thing I remember before I modified my truck, because I kept it stock for like a year just about before I modified it. And man, there's a few times where I'm in traffic and I'm like, I wish I had that damn automatic trans, right? But when you're sliding it sideways and you know, doing burnouts, what have you, you don't want the automatic as much, but it will easily get you by, right? I'm not hating on it whatsoever. Definitely curious about that though, with your hard shifting on the 1 to 2. I'm definitely curious on the deal with that. Is have you tried to flush it or anything like that yet? Because maybe I'm just speaking nonsense and you already have done that, right? You may have already thought of that and done that. Just trying to get it out. Probably just a bad piece of wax or something, you know. Let's see. But if you have any other questions, you know, even outside of the transmission stuff, I'm sure you're probably just typing. You know, I'm a slow typer myself. Not saying you are, but I'm sure you're getting back to me on that. But if you have any other questions too, you know, feel free to ask. I love helping folks troubleshoot and stuff. And definitely curious if you're doing, you're trying to get some performance out of yours. Have you done all the other stuff as well, like your fuel filter? Have you drained the rear diff fluid and swapped that out? And I'm not sure, I don't know if we've spoken about a mini spool, you and me particularly. Curious if you're running a mini spool or any kind of locker in the rear, or if you just want to run open diff, or what your plan is with that. I'm running a mini spool myself. An eBay special is like 43 bucks. That's what I'd run in mine. Just the cheapest mini spool I can get my hands on. They do have 2 different spline counts, so you got to make sure you get the right one for your rear end. You know, just check your glove box code or whatever. Let's see. But I appreciate you sitting here on the chat, on the live. It is much appreciated having a like and a viewer. Need help with that?
Yeah. Like squirt it out.
Over here making yeah, this can opener's not the best. This one is I can't even say it's an Amazon special, because Amazon will have way better. This is probably an old dollar store special, I would assume. You know how that goes. You're always gonna have a couple backup can openers, even if there's some crappy ones, right? But
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's like we always go to grab the crappy one first. That's how things go, right? Let's see. Yeah, throw that out. So I got 3 avocados cut up.
Oh, thank
We
you.
got a whole small onion. Let's get this thrown in here. I'll get the beef going here soon. We're gonna get the cheese cut up as well. Let's see if I got any more comments. I need to definitely flush it, but I have a Corvette servo to put in it. I have flushed everything in it, front to back, and do type slow, LOL. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I definitely would recommend flushing it if you haven't. And then the Corvette servo, so I'm not too familiar with how these engage the shifting, right? So I don't know a whole lot with like the servo setup, so that's cool. I'll look into that on some old forums. I'm sure there's some info as far as like a Corvette servo going in there. So I'm assuming it's got a harder, it'll shift hard, basically a shift kit is what I'm assuming it's gonna do. Fill me in on that a little bit if you got any more info. I'm kind of curious about that. And I'm curious what years your truck is. I'm sure you mentioned it earlier and I just probably forgot. Because I'm wondering if you plan on running HP tuners, because they have shift options in there as well. I can't access because I have an manual, but as an automatic, you know, you can get in there and do, you know, how hard you want your shifts and stuff like that. Let's see. Oh, it's a 2000. Okay, that's the same as mine. You might want to peep HP tuners if it's if you think that you might be wanting to spend a few hundred on doing that. You know, it's kind of not the most budget-friendly option to go with right off the jump. But if you're trying to get some performance and, you know, you're really into these S10s and these platforms, I think HP tuners you should look into. And I've got a video or 2 mentioning it too, so you might want to peep that on YouTube as well. But I appreciate you know, sitting here and comment. I will definitely look into it for sure. Yeah, you definitely should. Definitely should. Anything, I think it's like 97 and up to like 04 on the 2.2s could be tuned, right? It wasn't that wide of a year span, but now they've got it quite a few. So yeah, it's pretty nice, pretty nice. I've done quite a bit of tuning in there, you know, spark event, like timing advance, stuff like that. You know, you can make modifications if you're going catless with the test tube. And it's also a diagnostic scanner, right? So it goes in depth and can check all kinds of stuff. So you got to think about it like that too. It's kind of a 2-in-1, right? What are you looking for?
Cumin.
Oh. I never use cumin when I'm cooking. I always forget that's even like a thing.
Yeah, I know.
But anyways, Wesley, it's showing that nobody's watching. I'm sure that you had to, you know, leave. I know life gets busy. If you peep in on this video later, I appreciate you watching. Unless it's lying to me and saying, you know, nobody's watching, you still are. But anyways, peace. And we're just going to sit here. And if anybody else wants to tap in and watch, that's cool. If not, I'll end the live here in a bit. But yeah. I'm not going to sit here, folks, and ramble too much about the same thing, because I'm going to try to save the ears to a degree of the folks that are going to watch this not live in the future. But, you know, I don't mind repeating myself. If you have any questions about my build, your build, anything like that, I'd love to shoot the shit with you and talk about it. I definitely will. Okay, you're still here. I'm here. What are y'all making for dinner? We are making some tacos. We were gonna do spaghetti, but we were thinking tacos because we had tortillas and then we had everything, Spanish rice, all that stuff. So yeah, and 3 good avocados that were ready. So you know that goes. If you're not using avocados when they're ready, you're wasting money, right? We're bad about that. That's like the #1 like money waster in the kitchen. I feel like is avocados. Like if you're not using them on time, they're pricey, you know. But
Yeah,
you gotta
there's
love
only a
them
few
though.
days.
Yeah, it's like such a small span, right? But I appreciate you staying, Wesley. It showed that you weren't there for a second, but it could be my connection too. I'm curious how my connection is. This Wi-Fi sadly is trash compared to the last one. It's like 4 times slower. So I'm hoping it's not cutting out, making my lives like unbearable to watch with the audio and the quality of the video as well. But here in a bit, I can always maybe try to go out to the S10 and get a video, but the service is so terrible out there, it might cut the live. I can possibly get out there. I'm not sure if you've tapped in and seen the build on the live yet. I could always do that. Let's see, tacos are good, and yes, you can definitely leave them and forget about them. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, tacos is one of my favorite. It's like, I feel like tacos, we don't eat them super often, but I feel like we could eat them. I feel like I could eat tacos like 4 times a week, dude, honestly. Half my week could be just straight Hispanic food, and I would be a happy guy. I mean, they have some of the best food. I mean, you know, I like all kinds of different foods. I love burgers and all kinds of stuff. But tacos, man, sweet spot there, you know, because I'm a big guy. I'm big on veggies, right? Love vegetables. I think it's good to have moderation with stuff like that. So I'm not a health freak, but, you know, tacos hit that spot. You do whatever with them, you know? Do whatever. Whoa, we got somebody eating parm straight out the bucket, dude. Wild on the live. That's funny.
You just exposed me.
Yeah, I did expose her on that one, folks, but hey,
Ooh.
we're keeping it real. She's over here handful, and she's palming the cheese. Me too, I eat them all the time just because they're good, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's see. Let's get a pan. The pan's not in here. Is give me the stainless one if it's in there. The big stainless skillet, like the 12, 14 inch.
Hold on.
What color, Wesley? I'm curious what color your rig is. Mine's obviously, you know, that metallic green. My first one was a non-metallic red. My 97 was a non-metallic red, the automatic I have. Definitely curious what colors yours is, because I think that, man, there's so many good factory colors on the S10s. Yeah, I can make that work. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see here.
Beans.
There's nothing wrong with eating some cheese out the bag. I do it. LOL. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I do too. Let me reiterate, it was parm, bro. It was parmesan. But it's real parm. It's not powdered. It's not powdered, so I gotta give her that. But I mean, we got options over here. We got cheese sticks. We got even Tillamook cubes, which she was already mowing on, and then she hit the parm. But hey, I'm not judging. To each their own, right? To each their own.
Supposed to eat spaghetti,
I think it's funny.
I wanted some parm. So.
I know. I think it's just hilarious. Let's see. Let's get some butter out.
You're daddy. Oh, babe.
Definitely curious on the truck color, what color it is, if factory or not. And I don't remember if I asked if it was a step side or fleet side. Forgive me if I'm, asking that for a second time. I feel like I haven't, but I am curious on your setup, man. Definitely curious, because these lives and stuff. It's not just about me. It's about everybody else's. Everybody else's builds. I like to be informed on what people are working on. In 2025, it's fun to kind of link up with the folks that are doing similar builds. Let's see here. because I love a step side. You know what I'm saying? I love a step side S10. I think I prefer the fleet sides more, but I mean, I'm pretty sure the step sides are definitely more rare. I'm gonna go for a higher buck. I think they look so good, honestly. And I gotta say, the step side can pull off the back factory bumper a lot better with the trim kit that they have, the trim package, than the fleet side. And that's my opinion. Let me know what you think on that. I definitely think, coming from a fleet side perspective, I think they have it winning hands down on that one. Because I don't care for the factory back bumper too much. That's just me. But I also go for trying to have my rig as short as possible, so when I'm sliding, I can be a lot more technical, getting shorter, smaller spots, right?
Can you open this?
Yeah, I'll open that. Let's see. Extended cab, fleet side. All right, nice. I never had an extended cab, and so when I was gonna buy this one, I almost bought a two-tone extended cab. It was silver and gray with like a tonneau cover. Super low miles. It was nice, and I almost did it. It was a manual, and I just really wanted another regular cab short bed, so I ended up doing that. But man, having that extra space with the extended cab is nice, because I tell you what, they're tiny. You know, you're trying to get some groceries, whatever. It's raining, you want to throw them in the passenger seat. It's like it's tight in there. You know, gotta love the extended cabs. And I feel like the extended cabs too, with them being a hair longer, they give that like visual perception of like they're lower, right? I feel like they just like look a lot lower being a little longer. That's just me. But that's sick. That's sick. Curious, are you thinking about getting the 2.3 throttle body? It's a 56 millimeter throttle body, right? Compared to the stock 52 mil. I'm curious if you're thinking about getting that. It's off of a 2.3 like Buick Skylark or something like that. I recommend that modification. Not sure if you've heard about it or you consider doing it or if you've done it already. I like mine because it has the 2 fold down seats. Oh man, the 2 fold down seats is so nostalgic. So they're nostalgic for me in many vehicles, right? Like even my grandpa back in the day when I was a little kid, he had like an old Nissan pickup, and it was extended cab, and it had those tiny little fold down the side sitting seats. So nostalgic, dude. Every once in a while you'll see like, some folks, like it could be like some high schoolers or a family, they're all packed in a little S10, 4 of them, there's 2 in the back seat, dude. Oh man, it just brings smiles to my face. I really wish they would just kind of keep that, in the mini truck. Like obviously the trucks they make now that they claim to be like smaller size pickups, right, mid-size, whatever, it's not the same. They need to bring a mini truck back with that little extended cabin and flip down seats. Oh, people would buy it up in a heartbeat, I'm telling you. All right, let's get some onion in there.
Yes, the onion.
I want to leave some fresh, and we'll leave some.
A little bit of garlic.
Curious if you're still in the chat, Wesley, what interior color do you have on yours? Is yours like the dark gray? That's what mine is the dark gray. Or is yours like the tan? Because that tan looks killer. I almost got a tan on tan S10 way back right when I got out of high school. Kind of a crazy story why I didn't get it, but they had 2 of them identical at a car lot, to be real. Low miles too, man. Oh man, I wish I would have got it. Extended cab. That gold interior is clean though, the gold carpet and the tan. But definitely curious on that. And with that being said, talking about interiors, I really think that I prefer the original, the first style dash from the 2nd gen S10s, right? So like my 97, it had like a boxier dash. I think they look so much better. The only thing I think that the newer setup has beating that is like the little oh shit bar on the passenger side, right on the dash, to where they can grab it, kind of like a Jeep would have. That is one feature that I think that that is a little bit better with the interior revamp, whatever you call it. But I don't know, man. Let me know what you think on that one. I kind of like the dash setup with the old, like how my 97 was. I wish they would have kept it that way. I don't know if it's from maybe 94 to 97 or whatever, but you probably know what I'm talking about on that. Make sure you strain those. Yeah, my dad had a 2000 extended cab extreme, and it had them, and yes, brings back memories, and I have gray. Okay, nice. Gray interior. Can't complain about that. It's always classy, you know. And the thing about the gray is it doesn't stain as easy as the tan would, right? Those tan interiors stain a lot easier.
Should be almost done.
Keep it going a little bit. Did you put taco seasoning in?
No.
Please.
No. What's my other seasoning in it?
The battle over the taco seasoning over here, folks. Let's see. But I'm curious though. I don't think. Let me double check. I don't think we talked about the throttle body like I mentioned just a minute ago. I don't know if you got back to me on that. I'm curious if that's something that you're interested in, if you even know about it or not. But yeah, I think that throttle body is a pretty good modification to do. It's not like a straight plug and play. Like, it doesn't take like 15 minutes to do. It'll take a couple hours with a few slight modifications, but it's not bad. Definitely opens up the motor quite a bit, especially on the highway. Because, you know, they're kind of dangerously slow on the highway. And I would assume, you know, the extended cab being a hair heavier, it would be just a little bit slower too, you know. Yes, I would like to do that for sure. Do you have a video on it? I do have a video on it. Yeah, I actually did make one. It's not obviously like the highest quality because I'm, you know, working with my iPhone over here. But yeah, I do have a video on it. You should check it out. I don't think it's too long. And I cut to the chase, like with stuff. I'm not going to sit there and just bullshit beat around the bush for 10 minutes and then get to it, you know. It's kind of cut dry to the point, so you should definitely check that out. I got mine a new old stock. It'll mention all the details in the video, but just fill you in. I paid like $70 for it, man. It's not bad. Definitely a good modification to do. Yeah, definitely catch it when you get off the live for sure. And and I want to put this out there because where I live in Oregon, junkyards are expensive as hell, and that's why I avoided that entirely for that throttle body. I just got a new old stock on eBay because it's common enough to find a brand new one in the box like I did for $70. It was like 70, 75, right? And I think it's a way better option than going to a pick and pull, get a dirty one, taking your time to pull it apart, clean it, deal with all that shit. Just get the new one. I think that would be, you know, the best way to go. And I'm sure, you know, you're already probably thinking that way, but I just wanted to throw that out there for you. I think our time's very valuable nowadays, and going to a pick and pull and get ripped off for certain parts is just absurd. Going to get my sway bars for my S10, I pulled them myself, dirty as hell, blowing out bushings, bring it up, and the guy charged me $100 for them, bro. I was so flabbergasted. I thought 60 at the most, right? I wanted to hop over that counter. Bro, maybe if they pulled them off and they were like real nice, had like new bushings on them, maybe, I feel like. Taxing, dude. Taxing. Let's see. Yeah, I would rather get a new one just to know it's clean. Exactly. That's what I did. And see, and I don't have a problem like pulling carburetors apart and stuff, like especially a throttle body. So simple. But why even deal with the hassle if, you know, you could basically pay the same price? God knows how much more, probably $5-10 more than pick and pull would charge you for something brand new like that. It's a no-brainer, definitely. Yeah, they do charge a lot. It's sad, you know, how it's getting nowadays with junkyards. They'd rather basically see the shit get crushed and go to scrap than, you know, hook people up with a fair, honest deal. The only reason why I took those sway bars in because I knew they would fit the truck exact, and I didn't want to get aftermarket ones where the fit up is kind of janky, you know. I don't want it to where it looks like, oh, that don't fit that fucking truck. That's like a universal sway bar. I wanted the shit to work perfect, no rubbing issues, especially up front, you know. But if you had, does yours have a sway bar in the back? I don't know. So I've never had an extended cab. I don't know. Do possibly those have a sway bar thrown on the back for the extra weight? I'm assuming they don't. I think only, you know, like the performance S10s have them, like the Extreme and the ZR2 or whatever it is. Let me know on that. I'm curious because I threw the sway bar on the back of mine and I love it. Like I said, I still got to put new bushings and stuff on it for it to be optimal. It's really nice. It helps with the body roll. And I did the bigger front one as well off a two-wheel drive Blazer, upgraded to like a 33 mil, quite a bit beefier. You know, definitely helps with stiffening up the front end and the rear end as well, you know. But yeah, man, I appreciate you staying in on the live. I appreciate it. I know it's mad late. Not sure what your schedule is, but much appreciated. Let's see, what's it doing?
Just popping a lot.
It is.
The rice.
Yeah, it's because it has that the tomato stuff in there.
Yeah.
It'll be really good though. Did you put butter in the beans?
No.
Make sure you put butter in there.
Oil.
Oh, you did? Okay, that's fine.
Olive oil.
That's fine. No sway bar in the back. I would like to do a rear disc, rear end, put a sway bar back there. Yeah, definitely. I thought about doing the rear disc setup on mine too. But I think, you know, pulling one from a junkyard in my location is out of the question. And buying a kit is so damn expensive. I don't know if I'm going to ever get around to doing it. Maybe one of these days, you know, when the channel gets bigger and I could do like a sponsored video or something, I might consider it. But I think they look so good getting the drums off the rear, you know, having that disc brake. If you got some wheels that really like, you know, have some good sized holes where you can see back there, I think it looks so good. And performance reasons too, you know. But, and, you know, the sway bar on the back, like I was saying, definitely look into that. And look into the front sway bar as well. I don't know if you have any means of measuring yours. Like calipers, right? Like some digital calipers or non-digital even. But go and try and, you know, measure it and see what yours is. The upgraded one's a 33 mil. Most likely yours doesn't have that unless you upgraded it yourself. But yeah, pull that off of a two-wheel drive Blazer and it definitely stiffens up the front. And I threw energy suspension end links on it. But I still got to do the inners though. The inners are still just the blown out old ones from the old two-wheel drive at the junkyard. I got kids, so I wait for them to fall asleep before I go to sleep, and some night it be long. Oh, I hear you on that. I don't have kids myself, you know, got a lot of friends, family that do, and I can relate to that. I can relate, and I appreciate you staying in on the live. Thanks, man. Are you doing, do you have a hood scoop? Do you plan to do one, like a cowl setup or something different? I have a JDM hood vent on mine. It's kind of like an oddball thing. That's what I was going for. I like JDM stuff just as much as American. And I was wanting something different that I've never seen before, and that's what I went with. And I think it's kind of cool. You should check it out. I haven't paint matched it yet, but it's gnarly. It's a big one. It's like almost like 2 feet square, right? So it's pretty big. But I think it kind of gives it a cool look, you know, something different. I like the cowl hoods, don't get me wrong. I like the short, medium, tall ones, any size cowl hood. I like the look of just a basic S10 hood too, with like a turbo sticking out, you know, that looks pretty sick. Let's see what you said. So coming on the live gives me some time to do. It's nice to talk to someone about S10s. I would like to do a 2-inch cowl. Sick, you definitely should, definitely should. Yeah, it is nice to talk to some folks about S10s because, you know, the platform, like, it's not dying out, like, all the way, right? Like, there's plenty of folks that support them, but 9 times out of 10, it is all V8 guys. And then there's a very small percentage of 4.3 folks, which are badass. And then, like, in the 2.2, you know, range, there's, like, nobody, man. It seems like it's so dead. It feels like there's, like, 5 guys ever doing it, right? Feels like you can't even connect anyone unless you go on like an old forum. It's like 10 years old. It's like, what the hell? And then half of it's like fighting. It's a bunch of old heads on there just fighting, or young guys, you know, about punctuation and dumb shit. You can't even get the information you need on the forums. It's a bunch of older men too. Yeah, it is a bunch of older men too. And, I support, any age of the car community. I really support, the younger folks getting into it, just to keep it alive, especially the mini truck culture. But a lot of it is old school guys. And the thing, and I'm not going to just say, because I feel like a lot of people, no matter the age where you come from, like a lot of folks are very opinionated with stuff. But I feel like a lot of them, like, they're like, if you ain't got a V8 in your S10, like, it's not cool, right? And that viewpoint's trash, man. Especially if it's a daily driver, because, dude, the gas mileage, like, I can go drift my truck, just nonstop redlining it for like an hour, and I move like barely an eighth of a tank. Like, how are you gonna argue with that? You know what I'm saying? Just, yeah. But I don't hate on, the folks that are opinionated towards like V8s and stuff, but I don't like the ones that are cocky about it and think that anything that's like not a V8's like lame, because that is like a dumb viewpoint, I feel like. But I try not to be too biased, on that, because like I do get the viewpoint, like more power is better, like it's cool, but you don't always need more power to have fun. Just like some folks, I've tried to explain like why I prefer a 2-stroke 125 dirt bike class way over a bigger 4-stroke class. I've had big 4-strokes with a lot of torque. They're fun, but to me, I would rather have a smaller, lighter bike that's easier on the arms, shoulders, that I can maneuver better in the trails and hit that power band and stay in the power band ripping it around, right? If you know how to ride, you could ride a small CC 2-stroke and surpass, a bigger 4-stroke with a lot of power and torque, just from driving skills alone. And I feel like that's applicable to these 2.2s and, stuff that's not V8s in these S10s, because they are heavy boats, but they're not so heavy to where it's like you can't get them sideways with power. You still can. But, and they don't like what we do sometimes, definitely, and they don't. Yeah, the answer for everyone is V8 swap it. Exactly, dude, and it gets old. Like, I get it, the viewpoint, but it gets tiring, all the folks, V8 swap. And then they act like an LS swap is $800. Like, oh, just get one for $500 and you spend a couple $100 in parts. Like, bro, it ain't like that. I mean, an LS swap nowadays, your minimum, if you're going super budget, you'd be lucky to get one for $3K done. And that's if you have the time and the means to do it. You're trying to do that on a daily. It's like folks don't get, like, you're doing bolt-ons. You could do bolt-ons on your daily and have it going, same day or over the weekend. You do some mild bolt-ons like a clutch kit or something. It's manageable on a daily. You can't V8 swap a daily in 2 days over the weekend unless you're doing a fucking YouTube challenge with some money behind it, Yeah, not everybody has LS money. That's right. That is right. I agree with that. Not everybody has, family money. Not everybody has, or even wants to dump that kind of money into a build, because I feel like sometimes, dumping that much money into something you're just trying to have a little bit of fun with, it's cool and all, but when you have all that power, it's a lot bigger of a responsibility, and it's a lot easier to put into a wall or something, man. Especially in the wet, because where I'm at, it's wet all the time. If you're not running super wides with expensive, high quality compound tires, you're not hooking up in the wet. So my viewpoint of it so far off, from theirs, it's just like, it's like talking to a wall, I feel like, with some of them. But, I get everybody's opinions are going to be a little bit different, whatever it may be. So I just try to respect everyone's viewpoint with that. But sometimes it can be hard when it's just the nonstop, oh, LS swap it, It's like, okay, dude. And then there's people that are just like, it only takes 350 to comfortably slide one of those. It's like, bro, I don't need close to 350 horsepower. Like, you're cooked. You don't need 350 horsepower to slide 3,000 pounds. You don't. Like, they are heavy a little bit because they're a beefier, full frame setup. But, it's not like it's a full-size truck, And the power to weight ratio, honestly, with the 2.2 and the S10s in the second gen, it's higher power to weight ratio than a lot of other mini trucks with the 4-cylinder. Yeah, I'm in the back S10 Facebook groups, and I just sit back and read the comments and shake my head. I do the same thing. If there's someone that's genuinely, like, you could tell they're humble and like a good person asking for help, I get on there, help them out like instantly. I try to. But, it's comical just peeping in on all the folks' comments and the hate. and the shade that they throw. Oh man, it's funny. The S10 community is like, it's weird because there's folks from every part of the world, like the spectrum, right? Like you got those like trashy, like crackhead folks with no taste. You know, I'm not even gonna dig into all the stereotypical S10 owners, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. It's crazy. No, I'm serious, honey. Like that's a thing with a lot of like certain cars, but S10s is beyond. It's like you don't know who the hell's gonna be in an S10. Like that, the Windows 10, you don't know who's hopping out that motherfucker. You don't know. It's like it's comical. Yeah, some of the builds get far out, not in a good way, right? It can be very toxic. I can say that. Yeah, it can be toxic. And I had to catch myself on that too, because I would sit there sometimes and argue with folks, right? And then I'm like, what am I doing? I'm arguing with this guy that's obviously hard-headed and not open-minded. What does that make me if I'm going to argue with him, right? So, yeah, I've caught myself dabbling into that, and I'm like, whoa, I got to back up here, you know? This isn't good vibes, not healthy for the car community, right? But yeah, it's definitely funny. But I do understand like being competitive. That is cool if you're like big into racing. But me, I'm not naturally like a super competitive guy because I'm not big into like ball sports. I'm into like motorsports and stuff. And I never really race anything professionally, like anything like that. I raced BMX back in the day in like Arizona on like dirt track. But I was a chunky little kid and I sucked, but I was out there doing it, having fun, right? And so I naturally am not super competitive in that aspect when it just even comes to cars, like I like a little drag race, have a little bit of fun, but it's all smiles, like I smile harder when I lose a race, it's like I'm one of those folks. And I don't race that many vehicles. I only race stuff that I know I can maybe keep up with. Sometimes I'll race something fast just to see what they do. But that's pretty rare, because my rig's slow. But hey, if I know there's like a slam, sometimes I'll see like slam Hondas. It's like a non-VTEC. Even if it's VTEC, I'll mess with them sometimes, but I know they're going to smoke me. But I have kept up and I have beat some non-VTEC Hondas. But their rig probably wasn't well maintained whatsoever, right? Got lucky. I just enjoy the look of them, so honestly, I don't care about anyone else's opinion. That's right. At the end of the day, really what's up under the hood, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Like, obviously, if you're chasing performance, it can be on that aspect, but you're buying the rig for the most part for what it looks like on the outside, how it feels when you're driving it, just the connection and the bond you have with it, whether it's nostalgic or not, from the past or just the present. And I think that's something that a lot of folks just kind of have skewed nowadays. They think like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like all they got to chase is horsepower, and it's just like, bro, it gets tiring too. The folks that think like if you ain't got 1,000 horsepower, it's slow or whatever. It's like, what is happening now? What's happening? The second gen S10s look so good. I'm going to try to stay on topic with what you're saying with how you like how they look. You don't care what people think. That's my opinion, like my daily driver. I don't have anything expensive as my daily because I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm not paying, high insurance rates, and I don't have to worry if a Karen comes out with her groceries and hits my door. Because you know how many times I've been in my S10 and some Karen just not paying attention come out, wham, right into the side of my truck. And I'm just like looking up, Some of them won't even acknowledge that they did it, It's crazy. It's like, if that happened to something brand new, I would be tripping. In the S10, I don't care too much. It's not that nice. I'm not stressing it. I find the joy in that, the ease and the comfort of not stressing it. But anyways, I'm sure it's either cutting out, showing that you're not here, probably because the internet, or you got stuff going with your kids. But I understand that. I know it's late, and I hope you take care. And we're just going to roll out on the live. I've been going for just over an hour now. We got one like, haven't picked up a whole lot of traction, but I do appreciate you sitting here commenting. You're a solid one for that. Peep the videos that I've got on that throttle body like I mentioned. Check out this stuff like the eFan mod. All those things are very good to do on the truck, the HB tuners. And leave comment, whatever, and I will get to it and answer any questions that you might have. Let's see. I'm going to answer this. You said, before I leave, I'm going to answer your comment. I love all cars, but I can say over the years, the car community has gone downhill. I agree with you on that. It definitely has gone downhill. especially with like the takeover scene, all that crap. You know, everybody just chasing horsepower and not like having taste, all these cookie cutter builds, you know, nothing really original anymore. I feel you on that. The car culture is just not where it used to be. You know, it's not sitting there, you know, with what you got that week with your spare money, you're throwing it all into your rig, you know, doing something totally different, you know, your boys are gonna be excited about. It's just like, you know, you pull up and two people have the same shit going on with the same car, you know? So I feel you on that. But hopefully that the car community gets better, and you know, with the good vibes we put out there in the mini truck culture community, you know, that it helps bring the level back up just a little bit, right? If we backtrack just a couple years, like even 5, 10 years back, if we can get to that point, then we will all be happy, right, in the car community. So we just keep putting the good vibes out there, positive energy, helping each other out, and supporting low power and different builds. I think we can collectively reach that goal, you know, with due time, right? But anyways, like I was saying, I'm gonna head out. My dinner's cooked, and I've been on the live for like an hour now. I hope that you enjoyed the content. You know, here chatting back and forth. I sure did, and I look forward to talking to you in the future, man. Take care and good luck with that build.